Hey everybody, it's Galen, aka Determinacy here to bring you a chess shoutcast. I have with me FIDE Master Evan Jew.
Hey, I'm Evan Jew. My handle on chess.com is Elisum. Nice to be here.
Yeah, and this is our first chess shoutcast together, so it's pretty exciting.
I just played some bullet games. Against a pretty strong rated player. His name is Rainbow Rising 2500, so they're really good games and really interesting.
Awesome, and so we're gonna interview Evan for a few minutes, and then we're gonna ask him about the game. So what was his thought process during
Mhm.
those games?
Awesome, sounds great, man.
Cool. So Evan, how did you become the highest rated player on chess.com?
Um, right now I'm the highest for Blitz and I'm the highest active rated bullet player. And by active I mean there are higher rated players, but they haven't played in a long time because of the rating system change. Because of the rating system change, basically everybody's rating is around 300 points lower than it is now. So that's what I mean by highest active rated player. Um, Basically, I got good at bullet and blitz from playing over the board chess. A lot of people think that you get good at, bullet and blitz by playing bullet and blitz, but actually, bullet and blitz is a lot about recognizing patterns and, ingrained habits you get from playing many hours of over the board long chess. So I think I'm a younger kid, not as old as some of those really Russian grandmasters as old men, but so that gives me an advantage as well. I think really quickly, and I've played a lot of Bullet and Blitz over the years. So that's how I got so good. But I'm not even the best, I don't think. I'm one of the best, but not the best.
Thanks for sharing.
All right.
Okay, next question. Evan, how many games have you played on chess.com online?
um, I can look at really quick. Um, on chess.com, on this account, let's see here. I've played quite a few. I'm going to go to my history. Like chess.com has a record of all your games, rated and unrated games. So I'm going to my profile now. In Bullet, I have played a total of 4,740 games, 3,500 wins, 1,066 losses, 175 draws. And in Blitz, I have played 776 games, 628 wins, 125 losses, 23 draws. So I
So what's
have my fair share of games.
so what's your win to loss ratio?
Um, you can calculate that pretty easily. So it'd be my total rate would be 34.99 over 47.40 would be my win ratio. I'm not sure what the math on that is. Um, you can probably do that.
Fair
It's
enough.
around. Um, oh, it's a little more than 3-1 for Bullet, and
All
for
right.
Blitz, it's almost 5-1. It's slightly below. Yeah, it's around 5-1
I'm
into
I'm
one.
I'm sorry to put your math skills on camera.
Is that right? Yeah, camera.
Timed, yeah. Like totally unexpected.
Yeah, 35. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not too good at math.
Okay. So I was wondering, like, what do you think is your edge in speed chess?
My edge. Um, what do you mean in terms of playing
Like,
other
how do
strong
you beat
players?
other players? Like, what tactic do you have that like they don't have?
My edge. It depends on who I'm playing. Overall, against the average player, my tactics are much stronger. I think I calculate much quicker than the average player, even than masters or even some grandmasters. I think that my speed of calculation is very quick. Also, the tactics I recognize. I recognize tactics quicker. I recognize patterns quicker, than the average player. Even probably faster than several of the international masters or grandmasters. That's my advantage, and my tactics are very strong. Um, where I lack in general over the board and in blitz is more of the very, very subtle, fine positional play. That is, the mark of a true grandmaster. And obviously those factors have a much less impact on the game than tactics and bullet. And in general, I just move very quickly. So even if I make a mistake, to a very strong player, he has to be able to capitalize on it very, very effectively and quickly. Otherwise, I can run them out of time. I'm also very good at pre-moving. That's my edge. A lot of people think moving quickly, especially at the end of the game, is just just like mouse speed. But actually, it's all about making really accurate pre-moves. The quality of your pre-moves is something that's kind of a phenomenon in online chess only. Obviously, you can't pre-move in over the board, but if you make good pre-moves, you can outplay your opponent even if you have like 3 seconds and he has 5 seconds. It's all about anticipating, and that's a lot of psychology in chess. Pre-moving at the end.
Cool.
Does that make sense, Ben?
Yeah, totally.
It's kind of complicated. Like, yeah, that's where most of the psychology in chess comes from.
It's
like,
from the pre-moving.
Yeah, like anticipating what you're going to do, like thinking like what's natural for a player to do in time pressure, and if he's seeing a move, and anticipating that natural response, and then playing a move that either punishes that or take advantage of that move somehow.
So I guess here was my question that I was thinking about. So how did you learn to see tactics more quickly than other people?
There were a lot of exercises I did for standard chess. I obviously read tons of books. I did tons of problems, tactics, training problems. On the tactics trainer on online chess, I've done over like I think 1,000 of them. It's really just about pattern recognition, like really spending the time, and also there are several exercises that strong players do to improve the speed of their calculation, not just tactics. I did many of those too. That's pretty much how I got good at tactics. Just, a lot of time, a lot of effective training practice, and, also just lots of games in general.
So when you say like a lot of time training, what's a lot? Like how many hours on an average day?
On an average day, back when I was a competitive, I had more time as a younger junior rising player. I would say maybe 2 to 3 hours a day. Now I have less time, of course, but I still try to get those tactics problems in.
So 2 to 3 hours a day of studying chess is sufficient to become a FIDE master.
Yes, of course. So I started when I was 5 years old, so also those hours added up. Some days I played less, some days I played more, but also just thinking about it this way, like live chess tournaments, one game can go for 6 hours. So, and sometimes you have 2 a day. So, and that counts as training as well. Now, obviously,
Totally.
tense training situations or tournament situations count as tournaments.
So, where did you grow up?
I grew up in New Jersey. I played at the Westfield Chess Club, the Marshall Chess Club in New York City. But yeah, most of the strong tournaments were in New York City. And I made the commute there because it was definitely worth it.
So you got to play against a lot of strong players there.
I did. I played against, all the famous people at the Marshall, like Jay Bonin. I'm sure everyone knows him. He's famous table. Alex Strapunski, Grandmaster. All the active, strong, rated Grandmasters who play rapid chess at the Marshall.
Have you ever played against I am Daniel Naroditsky?
I did. I have. I actually, well, he's kind of a rising star. I played against him when he was younger, and I went to the World Youth Chess Championship with him. I think that was a while ago. That was maybe 2005. I think we were together in France. I think, no, yeah, Belfort, France. And yeah, he was a little even smaller. He was a smaller back then. He wasn't IM, but he was a rising player for sure. I haven't played him in a while though. I haven't seen him in a while. I think he got really, really good in the past few years. So.
Oh, really?
Yep. He's always been a rising star.
So the next question that I had was, how do you play so fast? I guess you already spoke about tactics, but I guess I'm curious, like physically, like, is there any, I don't know, is it kind of like StarCraft where you have to do like a lot of clicks per minute?
In StarCraft, there's a measure called like APM, like everybody. It's like actions per minute. In chess, actually, there's not that many actions per minute required for moving quickly. It's mostly about like I said before, anticipating your opponent's moves and like having a move ready. Like Like say you play a move and then you expect your opponent to play one. Like you can either A, pre-move, which obviously is very fast, or you could like have your piece hovering over one of your pieces like ready to move really quickly.
So do you have your piece hovering, ready to move against your opponent like often? Is that
Pretty often, yeah. Especially when I'm reading my opponent well. Sometimes you just have those moments or those days where you can really read your opponent, like you're really on the same like wavelength as him. So you really have those moves ready, and it makes a huge difference. Like you almost at the point where you can pre-move against him because you know exactly what he's going to do.
so? Is there almost like a psychic element?
Yes, that's a psychic psychological element of it. Like
Huh.
like there are some games like it's amazing. Like when I play some grandmasters, like one of the best, maybe the best bullet player on chess.com is GM Janosik. He's a grandmaster, a young player like me, and he's a grandmaster. A lot of our games, since we are like on the same length, like we're comparable strengths and like comparable ideas. A lot of our games are pre-moved until like the 15th or 16th move. So that's just to put in perspective.
Wow.
And like obviously sometimes if I'm being in a really where one of us has been like in a naughty mood, like we'll make a move that, takes advantage of that. But normally we're pretty good about that. We just let it happen. So
Um, so that brings me to another question: is like when are you out of book in your games?
it depends on the opening. I know a lot of opening theory, just from my time over the board chess. Um, it really depends on the game when you're out of book. It's hard to answer that question.
Wh- so when you know a lot of opening theory, is it like you know a lot of like concrete lines, right?
Yes,
So where did you find those lines?
I use ChessBase. Uh, I use ChessBase to, they have an opening book, and also basically when I analyze openings, what I like to do is I go into ChessBase or Mega Database. It's basically a compilation of, all the strong master games. Like I think there are a few million of those games. What I like to do is I type in an opening that I'm curious about. I filter the search so it's only 2,400 rated players and above, and then I see what all the strong players are playing in that opening. And that's the way I build my opening repertoire.
So do you literally have an opening repertoire written out?
Yes, I do. I have a database of, I like to, obviously after I look it up, I write it down, what I learned. And so yeah, in my database, I have a lot of random opening lines, but yeah, essentially my opening repertoire is written out. I mean, there are some ideas that are not written down that I just inherently know from studying, but yeah, for the most part, my opening repertoire is in database PGN form.
So how many hours did it take you to build this
Oh, I don't
database?
even know, man. Many, I would say at least I don't know, almost 1,000 hours. I really don't know. At least several hundred hours for study.
It could be 1,000 hours.
In terms of, yeah, I mean, over my lifetime, I would say definitely that could be a possibility. Remember, I've been playing for 15 years since I was 5. Maybe I only started doing database study maybe when I was 12, so maybe 8 years of that, you know.
So you still use some of your analysis from when you were 12?
Some of it, obviously, I'm much more wary of my 12-year-old stuff, but, I edit and, I don't know. I'm strong enough to know that, like, oh, that's not a good idea anymore and stuff. But, yeah, obviously, I'm very careful about the older stuff. But, stuff from, like, maybe 2006, 2007, it's pretty accurate. I don't know.
Okay. I'm interested. Cool. So I'll have to ask you more about that later.
Okay.
Um, so have I've watched you play and I've seen you have like 200 point like rating swings
Hmm.
sometimes.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about the variance that you've experienced?
In terms of rating swings, it can pretty much be explained in one way. It's just that basically when you're in you can get in a zone in bullet, as people say, like in sports, you get in the zone. Sometimes like you just have off days and good days. Obviously there are other factors such as maybe you're playing underrated opponents, you're tired, outside factors like that. But for the most part, in terms of rating swings, it's all about, how you're playing at that moment. So like sometimes after I play an hour, I really get into the groove and, I really like to start calculating well. It's that kind of thing. Sometimes you're just in the zone, and that can really lead to rating swings. Um, that's pretty much it.
Cool. Oh, this. So, are you a chess coach on chess.com?
Yes, sir, I am. Um, yep, I have quite a bit of students on chess.com. What I like to do is that I try to keep it very, very like level appropriate for my students, and I try to explain things very thoroughly and articulately. So a lot of my students appreciate that, and I really don't try to, overwhelm them with information. I try to keep it appropriate so they can learn at least like a solid 3 or 4 things per lesson, and they can apply it to their own games as well.
And that's it for this chess interview with Evan Ju, aka Elysium. Hope you enjoyed it. We're going to be bringing you lots of more YouTube videos. And this is Galen Pyle, aka Determinacy with the Portland Chess Shop. Until next time, keep playing chess.